It is almost impossible for you to have a relationship with somebody that you don't trust, that you have no faith in, that you do not believe in, that you have no confidence in. You just can't have a relationship with them because you're going to always be doubting their abilities, their intentions, whatever it may be. So why do we think it's any different with God? Which is why when it says without faith it is impossible to please him, that's exactly what it means. If you don't trust him, if you don't believe in him, if you aren't confident in him, then you aren't pleasing him. You can't please him. You aren't having a relationship with him. How would you feel if you and every relationship you had were constantly being questioned about whether or not you were able to perform, whether or not you were able to be supportive, whether or not you were able to help out, whether or not you were just able to do anything, just able to exist and be there, which is what the rest of that verse is, explaining a little bit. So that's what I want to talk about today. I mean, what better way to live than like royalty? Okay, so we find this in Hebrews, the 11th chapter, that they call the Hall of Faith, or the Hall of Fame faith people, or the people of faith that's in the Hall of Fame, something like that. That's what they call it. All right, so let's just go straight into it. Hebrews, the 11th chapter, the 6th verse. I'm sorry. The third verse has been in my mind. I've been studying it. It's hard for me to get off faith right now. I don't know why. Maybe the Lord is dealing with me, wanting me to build my faith and increase my faith. But the 11th chapter, the 6th verse, it reads this: But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. Now, every time I hear this verse, is split. It's either one person saying without faith it's impossible to please him, or one person saying he's a rewarder of those that diligently seek him. But not too many times I hear him put together the way that the verse is written all the way through. But without faith it is impossible to please him. For those that come to him must first believe that he is, and that he's a rewarder of those that diligently, or to those that diligently seek him. Like, it's a reason, it's all there. And when we think about faith, again, I really just explained what faith is in the opening, but faith is literally the trust and belief. To break it down, to make it simple, it's the trust, belief, and confidence that it's going to happen. That's really it. That's all faith is, which is why when it says the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, you believe that it's going to happen. That's faith. And you don't please God if you don't have any faith, because really without faith, you can't be saved. You are saved by the fact that you believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God and that God raised him from the dead. By faith, you are deemed the righteousness of God. By faith, you have the inheritance. By faith, you have all of these things. But if you don't believe, if you don't have faith in the person who's giving it to you, then you don't have it. So when we talk about having faith and without it, not being able to please God, that's literally what it's saying. You cannot please a person that you are constantly doubting. And there's too many people constantly doubting God's ability to perform. We all sing the song, He's able. We all talk about how, He's able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all we could ask to think. We always talk about He can supply all our needs according to His riches and glory. We always talk about this and talk about that. But then when we get in the midst of an issue, when we get in the middle of a trial, we always start to doubt God, or we always show God we don't trust Him by trying to do it ourselves. What happened to acknowledging Him in all of our ways and letting Him direct our path? What happened to us not leaning into our own understanding, but trusting Him with all our heart? Like, it's so many different things that we try to do. We try to take matters into our own hands. We try to solve it ourselves. We try to make sense out of it, and we don't. We end up failing. We end up making the situation worse than it is. We end up getting to a place where now it's even harder to believe God, because we done pushed ourselves back even further, or we done made it seem that much more far-fetched because we've tried it and we see that it can't be done. But with God, all things are possible, and I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. So in reality, if you don't have faith in the person, then you can't have faith in what the person told you to do. You can't have faith in what the person taught you. You can't have faith in any of the wisdom that you got, any of the, tips and tricks, nothing. If you don't trust the person, if you don't have confidence in the person, if you question their ability, then it is going to be hard for you to receive anything from them. And if you can't receive anything from them, then you, in essence, really can't build a relationship with a person. You cannot build a relationship with a person. Jesus. Man, my voice is cracking. But you cannot build a relationship with a person that you don't have any faith in, no confidence, no trust, no belief, no nothing. Like, that person is just there as a person you see, you acknowledge. How are you supposed to worship him in spirit and in truth when you don't believe in his spirit and you don't believe in the truth? How are you supposed to, build a relationship with him? How are you supposed to pray? What's the purpose of praying if you don't believe that God is going to answer anything that you're praying about? What is the purpose in saying, I'm healed? I am already healed. If you don't believe that Jesus' blood or that the stripes on his back has already healed you? Like, so when we talk about faith, it's not just a principle. Faith is foundational. Faith is the foundation that we build our lives on. Because faith is really, again, I'm going to say this again, there was somebody that disagreed with me, but faith is really the foundation that God has built everything on. Now we can go to verse 3, because verse 3 is something that I've been studying, but it's just amazing to me. I'm not even going to try and explain it, but I'm just going to read it so that you can see. And this is probably why people think that the Bible contradicts itself, but you got to be spiritual to understand spiritual things. That's all I'm going to say. But verse 3, through faith, we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God, so that the things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. That is just powerful. But by faith, through faith, we understand. So you cannot understand the world. You cannot understand God. You cannot understand anything, which is why the second part of verse 6 says, and they that come to him must first believe that he is. A lot of translation says that he exists, but I like that it says that he is. You have to believe that he is. That he is what? He is everything that he said he is. He is everything that he proved he is. He is everything that you need him to be. And that he is also still a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. So without faith, it's impossible to please him. Without faith, it's impossible to have a relationship. Without faith, it's impossible to be saved. Without faith, it's impossible to be healed. It's impossible to have mercy. It's impossible to have grace. It's impossible to have forgiveness. It's impossible to have anything, let alone please God. So that's really what I wanted to talk about today, because faith has just really been on my mind and really been strong in my heart and in my spirit. So that's what I want to leave y'all with. If this was helpful, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions or if you disagree with anything, I always encourage you. I really, really encourage you. Go ahead, comment, leave something. Let's have a discussion. Let's talk about it. But, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.